Hello and welcome again. We have completed the Smart Console configuration or installation in the previous video. And in this video, as part of the Checkpoint installation and configuration, we're going to include firewall settings in the Smart Console. What we're going to do is to add one of your gateways, the one we deployed in the previous videos, to the management server. And the way to do it is to go to log into the Smart Console and go to the gateways and servers, and from here you have add, and you can add a new gateway cluster or object from here. So we can see gateways right there. You can use the classic or the wizard mode. This will end at the end get you to the classic mode, so we'll rather start from here, classic mode, and then a window opens where we can add the firewall name, firewall IP address, and then the features we need to use. I will show you the blades we've discussed in the beginning. So the firewall name is CBAGW01. That was the name of our firewall. And the IP address, let's use the internal IP, which was 10.1.1.115, and it will have a color which is black. As a firewall, it's really nice to have a uniform color. However you like them, you can change from here. If you can't find the color you want from there, you can go to manage, and then from here, these are the ones that are already there, but you can add new ones. So select from here whichever color you want. Firewall, Fabric is better. It looks nice as a firewall, so it's part of the list now. And then from the list, you can add Fabric. So any firewall you configure, you may change the color to Fabric. Maybe objects like PCs, laptops, or maybe servers, you can use different colors. But for now, Fabric works well. No IP version 6, and this one we can call it, and let's call the perimeter firewall or the external firewall, perimeter firewall. And this is actually the firewall that we will use, the only firewall we have in the network. And at the moment, the only feature we are selecting is the firewall. You can use IPsec VPN, mobile access, application control. These we can go in a different videos and explain what they are and actually use them. You have a license of 15 days to use those. But the way you deploy it, is it a firewall blade? Is it a firewall hardware from Checkpoint, and then you choose the model from here? Or is it an open server? It's detecting open server because it's VMware. The version we are running is R81.10, and it's Gaia because it detects what the management server is running. But if your firewall is below, it can never go higher. But if it's below, then you have to choose from here. So for now, this is what we want. And then in the network management, if I go to the network management, I will pull the interfaces here. But before we do anything, we need to make sure we have communication from the management server to the gateway. So what we have to do is, it's not initialized. That means there's no communication between the gateway and the management server. When we were deploying the firewall or the gateway, we have created a secure internal communication key or a password, and that is what we're going to use here. So let's go to communication, and then it says authenticate the one-time password. This is what we've configured during the installation, and I'm going to provide that password here. Then I will say initialize. Sometimes you might have network issues. You may have firewall sitting between your management server and the gateway. They might block that communication. So there are certain ports from Checkpoint that you have to configure in the firewalls that might be sitting between your gateway and your management server. So this one says trust established, and then you can continue. This is all good. It's green. Sometimes it fails, so you have to troubleshoot. There's different ways to troubleshoot that. And then it detects the interfaces from the firewall. And that's the internal, external, and it's the DMZ. We're happy with that, and then we can just say OK and close it. If maybe in the future you add one more interface, you might come and pull the interfaces again. And when you're pulling, if you have certain configurations like IP spoofing, you need to be quite careful because it wipes out those anti-spoofing configurations. There are different ways to do that, and we will see them. But if you go to now network management, you see those were empty, but now it pulled. As we were saying, if you add one more interface and you want to get those interfaces, you have to select get interfaces without topology if you have anti-spoofing configurations and you don't want to delete them, because different organizations will be configuring these for very long to allow configurations or communication between subnets. And if you just pull with topology, it will reset everything, and then you might have more issues than you are trying to solve. So stick with this unless you know what you are doing. And so we know these interfaces are good, and the application we're using now is only the firewall, the Blade, I mean, that's the key name. Checkpoint uses Blade. It's nothing else, but if you remember, the Checkpoint management server, this one, wasn't able to access the internet. And one of the reasons was there's no firewall rule, first of all, and there is also, we were trying to download the updates. One reason was there was no connectivity because of the NAT, and the other one is that there's no rule. So we can do NAT here, and then we can use this automatic one for now, and then hide internal networks behind the gateway external IP. Remember this, the external IP, which says 192.168.1.1. Let's log in. HTTPS. The external interface was 192. So here we have 192.168.1.1. My broadband router is 192.168, the internal interface of the broadband. When the firewall hits the internal broadband interface, the broadband router will NAT it and then make it my public IP address. That will go to the internet. That's why this firewall was able to connect to the internet. But the management server is different IP. Its IP is 10.1.1, so it won't be able to access the internet. So we need to tell the firewall, since the firewall is the gateway for the management server, we need to tell the firewall, when you receive 10.1.1, that's the internal, hide everything behind the external interface. That's a quick one we want to use now, but later we will do NATing policy separately. So we select that one, nothing else, we save, and what happens is that object will appear here, and then we will push a quick policy to allow the management server to access the internet. There is changes we have to apply. So the changes we have done will appear here. We need to publish that change, add some comments, and say added gateway CP-GW01 to the management server. This will appear in the logs. So if you publish that, those changes will continue, and then we will install the database of the management server first time. So this will take some time. Let's maximize the window. Now that firewall, the communication is already there, but the management server or the smart console will take time to show here. Actually not too long, but will show connected. So we give it some time. And also the changes we have done, we install the database on the management server. So the database is installed. We are waiting for that gateway to appear here. After that, we will install the policy and push policy from here. Maybe we can just change to allow for quick configuration that we can allow the connectivity. So now the management server can see the firewall, it's installed, and the main thing is the policy installation we haven't done. The policy, there's a default deny all. If we push that to the gateway, everything will stop working. So we need to edit the firewall policy, and in another video I will show you how to create the policy. We have the NAT in place, but we haven't pushed to the gateway. So see you in the next video, and thank you for your time.